Welcome to Your Seat at the Table. I'm Tammy Smith, your host, and this is episode 7. In today's table conversation, we're talking about telling the truth. Taking your seat at the table means you're prepared to present your offering to the world. That implies that you are aware of the world around you. You're not disconnected, but neither are you afraid. Sometimes something in one's past, memories of being overlooked, shamed, or rejected, will stop a person from stepping up and speaking their truth. As David White says in Consolations, to be courageous is to seat our feelings deeply in the body and the world. To be courageous is to stay close to the way we are made. Staying close to the way you are made requires self-reflection and introspection. This is carefully watching yourself to examine what you choose to say and what you choose not to say. In Lying, best-selling author and neuroscientist Sam Harris argues that we can radically simplify our lives and improve society by merely telling the truth in situations where others often lie. His definition of a lie is to intentionally mislead others when they expect honest communication. Sissela Bach, the American-Swedish philosopher, explores the psychology of lying, the consequences of deception, and the perils of keeping secrets. In an interview with Bill Moyer, he asked, "What do you find so fascinating about the subject of lying and secrecy?" Sissela Bach answered, "Well, the subject of lying connects for me very much with all communication, and the amazing thing that we human beings do communicate, in fact, with one another rather well quite often." Then lying, of course, is a way of gaining power over other people through manipulating them in various ways. And this is something that children learn. They also learn to keep secrets. And then I believe we almost have to unlearn that. If we are to mature, we have to unlearn any enjoyment of that power. Lies fall within two main categories, with various shades and degrees in between. There's the lying of commission, that's the bad things that we do, and the lying of omission, the good things we fail to do. Because lying is lying, whether by commission or omission, both work to destroy the beauty of truth. Krishnamurti says, when we are dishonest, essentially we mean there's a comparison between what we have said and what is. One has said something which one doesn't mean, perhaps to give passing assurance, or because one is nervous, shy, or ashamed to say something which actually is. So nervous apprehension and fear make us dishonest. Repression, denial, bitterness, and resentment are consequences of being hurt, and we are all hurt throughout life. Alfred Adler, physician, psychotherapist, and founder of Adlerian psychology, says, "A lie would have no sense unless the truth were felt as dangerous." It can be challenging to be in relationships with others and stay true to ourselves, rather than being enmeshed with or feeling abandoned by the other. In episode 3, Voice and Inner Authority, we talked about the need to balance self-needs with others' needs and how a weak ego will fall on one extreme or the other. Lies not only serve to distort and destroy truth, but also splinter the self, distorting our perception of who we truly are. Carl Jung, in Modern Man in Search of Soul, writes, "We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. I am the oppressor of the person I condemn, not his friend and fellow sufferer." Sometimes we censor true feelings as to not hurt someone else. In Lying, Sam Harris says, "Many of us lie to our friends and family members to spare their feelings. What could be wrong with truly white lies? Well, first, they're still lies, and in telling them, we incur all the problems of being less than straightforward in our dealings with other people. Sincerity, authenticity, integrity, mutual understanding. These and other sources of moral wealth are destroyed the moment we deliberately misrepresent our beliefs, whether or not our lies are ever discovered. And while we imagine that we can tell certain lies out of compassion for others, it is rarely difficult to spot the damage we do in the process. When you hide your feelings or stay silent on a situation because you are afraid of someone else's reaction, you're not being real or honest or authentic. And you miss not only the opportunity to help others, but you weaken your own capacity to grow. Our first step is to let down our barriers and look deeply into our fears. We must be honest with ourselves and to see things clearly and objectively. We can't do that if we're dividing the world into saints and sinners. We cannot judge rationally if we're carried away by prejudice or passion. Sharing your message with the world doesn't mean creating a bandstand or starting a movement. Sometimes it means to lead simply with your actions. Unbelievable damage is done in the quest for recognition, power, and authority. Natural law signifies that we can know through our powers of reason what is right and wrong, and that our reason can thereby guide us towards an ethical life. Becoming aware of the natural law through a carefully formed moral compass is an essential part of what it means to be human. Cicero has a famous passage wherein he describes the natural law. There is, in fact, a true law, namely right reason, which is in accordance with nature. It applies to all men and is unchangeable and eternal. By its commands, it summons men to the performance of their duties. By its prohibition, it restrains them from doing wrong. Everyone has a sense of it. When you are in truth, you have a light heart. You don't need someone to tell you when you're lighthearted. The body is biologically hooked up to not be comfortable when it is in disharmony with reality. But because of the adaptable nature of being human, once you begin to act on the temptation to bend, conceal, or distort the truth, the discomfort will lessen with each transgression. If you are lying to yourself or others and you don't feel the discord in your body, you have repressed it, and sooner or later it will make itself known as dis-ease. In the chakra system, it is the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, that allows us to synthesize communication from source and the world so that we may live a life of speaking our inner truth. This chakra is the connection between our heart and mind. Being in balance leads to honest communication and self-expression. It allows us to be flexible when we're working with others, accepting of who they are, and taking responsibility for our needs. In episode 6, Unfinished Business, we talked about counter forces. These are our oppositions. You can think of it as pressure or initiations. We need to be challenged to grow, and there is nothing more powerful as rising to the challenge of making a commitment to connect and communicate deliberately and deeply. Lies are told to protect, but truth is told to preserve. What the world needs more than anything is people who will face their own dragons so they can stand in truth and come to the table in strength and integrity. Thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to subscribe and share with a friend. And remember, your seat at the table is your go-to channel when you need a boost of confidence, a bit of inspiration, and ancient wisdom to heal your dragons, so you can move forward, take action, speak up, and claim your rightful place and incredible worth. Welcome to the table.